If you listen to the Strength Running podcast, you know that I'm always saying that knowledge is a competitive advantage. Learn more about the process of improvement, learn more about training, injury prevention, sports psychology, nutrition, and fueling. You're going to be a better runner. You're going to make better decisions about how to do every little thing in your training. And so by becoming a couple percentage points better in a bunch of different areas in running, maybe that's your strength training, maybe that's your mindset training, maybe that's your workouts and how you structure those, you're going to really compound a lot of gains over the course of months and years. And I've been on a couple podcasts recently, and they're always asking me what my favorite resources are. And I create resources every day for runners, of course. And if you're watching this video, you're consuming a running resource right now. But I want to share some of my favorite books with you, particularly about mindset training, because I really think that improving how you think about the sport of running, improving the decision-making skills that you have, your ability to set goals, and better modulating your emotional responses to things so that you can be productive and effective in your training is one of the surest paths to improvement. So in this video, I want to share 3 of my favorite books on performance psychology and how to get more out of yourself from a mental perspective. All right, I want to share 3 books with you today. The first one is our real sports psychology book, and I'm picking this for several reasons. This is The Brave Athlete. Calm down and rise to the occasion. I actually had Simon and Leslie, the 2 authors of this, on a previous episode of the podcast. And there's 2 reasons why I love this book. Number 1, it is irreverent. This book is full of swearing and all kinds of curse words and crazy stories in it. It's just a pleasure to read. It's fun to read. And if you're going to work on something like your mindset, you might as well make it fun, because let's be honest, it's probably not the thing that you would rather do. You'd rather go out there and go for a nice run. You'd rather go out there and explore the trails, or maybe even get on the track and play with speed a little bit. The last thing we want to do is be working on our mindset. But Simon and Leslie have put together an amazing book that is accessible and I think is very practical. There are worksheets and activities for you to really learn these lessons and then practically apply them in your running. And the other reason why I like this book is that it's not extraordinarily academic. This book is written by Simon Marshall, the sports psychology PhD, but his wife Leslie is a 3-time world off-road triathlon champion. She's a world Ironman champion. She's just an amazing athlete that's had a lot of success. And I love books that talk about an issue from multiple perspectives. So yes, we need the academic perspective. We need the theory. But I also want to know how it's applied in real life. And that's where Leslie's stories and real-world applications come in. So if you just want to get started and you really want to dive into the meat and potatoes of sports psychology, this book, The Brave Athlete, is a really, really great option for you. Next, I want to share a book that is a little bit different. It's a little bit more of a narrative, so you're not going to have chapters based on specific mental skills. It's more of a story. And this one is written by a world-class runner. Of course you know her, Dina Castor. This is Let Your Mind Run. She was also a previous guest on the Strength Running podcast. This is a memoir, but it's a memoir through the perspective of Dina's mental journey about running. And where the first book, The Brave Athlete, is kind of like your meat and potatoes book where you don't have to read it from start to finish. You can pick out the chapter on mental toughness, you can look at the chapter on goal setting, and you can really pick and choose, almost like an a la carte menu. Now, with Dina's book, Let Your Mind Run, it's a little different. This is a narrative, it's a story. You're going to want to read it from start to beginning. And for that reason, I think it's really an entertaining read. It's an engrossing read. It reads almost like a novel, and that's why I think it's really effective. It's one of those books that you can't put down. It's every running nerd's dream. You know, you're reading about an amazing world-class athlete, while at the same time, hearing the real stories from her career and how she used sports psychology to elevate her performances and really get your head on straight when you're on the world stage. So Let Your Mind Run by Dina Castor is one of those phenomenal mindset books that I heartily recommend. And our last mindset book, this book is not actually completely about your brain and how to get the most out of it from a sports psychology perspective, but I think it's so valuable nonetheless. That is Peak Performance by Brad Stulberg and Steve Magnus. Elevate your game, avoid burnout, and thrive with the new science of success. And this book, I think, is excellent for those folks who not only want to get control of their mindset and build a lot of mental skills, but want to do that in service of peak performance. Whether that is peak performance as a runner, peak performance as a business owner, employee, entrepreneur, or maybe even as a parent. That's what I love about peak performance, is the fact that it can be applied to almost anything. You know, if you build these skills in a sport-specific way, through running, through your training, and there's certainly a lot of different applications in this book for that, but that bleeds into almost every other area of your life. And that's one of the reasons why I think training your mind has such outsized rewards. Yeah, it's great. It's going to make you into a better runner, but it's also going to make you into a better person. You're going to have more tenacity and confidence and focus when you go and do the other things in your life where you need those mental skills. The other thing I really like about this book is that in every chapter, they have a little box that they describe performance practices. So after telling stories and going through theory and really kind of going through some of the more abstract ideas when it comes to peak performance, the authors then focus on peak performance practices. So, okay, if you want to get these skills, you want to build these skills into your training, how do we do that? And these checklists at the end of every chapter are just extraordinarily helpful because they give you real-world strategies for incorporating these lessons into your running. Speaking of more resources, I'm going to have some under this video on YouTube, our mindset course on strength running that you can sign up for, as well as additional articles and videos about different topics around the area of performance psychology. So maybe you want to learn how to set better goals and actually follow through on them. Or maybe you just want to build confidence or mental toughness, or how to better focus, not only right in front of you during a race, but maybe you need better focus over an entire training cycle or from year to year because your training and your running performances are not progressing. And of course, if you found this video helpful, I would so appreciate a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel so that you don't miss any new videos that we have coming up real soon.